Yeah, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the Mostly Sorry podcast. My guest today, one of my best friends, the great and powerful Jeremiah Watkins. I mean, we had a great time, almost too great. I forgot to mention all the stuff this guy's got going on. So go give him a follow at Jeremiah Stand Up on Instagram and Twitter. He's got a 1 hour special coming out December 8th on Amazon Prime Video, and you can go pre-order that right now. So head over to his Instagram. The link is in his bio. Go pre-order that shiz. Do it. Do what I say. Or don't and feel like an idiot when everybody else has it. When all your friends are like, hey, have you seen Jeremiah's new stand-up special, Family Reunion? Oh, you haven't seen it? It came out December 8th. What? You could have pre-ordered it. Now you look dumb because we've all seen it and you're the only one. So don't look dumb. Head over there. Order it now. Follow Jeremiah at Jeremiah Stand Up on Twitter, Instagram. This guy is just out there doing it. Go support that. I'm really excited about this episode. And at this point, we roll the music. Hell yeah. Hello. Welcome to the Mostly Sorry podcast. I'm hot and just revving to go. And here we are. One of my best friends in the whole world. Second guest ever on the show. Guys, please put your hands together for Jeremiah Watkins. Jeremiah.
Oh, thank you so much.
How are you?
Thank you. Dude, I'm stoked to be here.
I love your mic technique. You're really a technical wizard with the microphone.
You gotta be, man. You gotta be. Just one pinky out, maybe.
Yeah. I like it. It's very subtle. It's like, you know, the mic doesn't feel abused once you put it down again.
No,
it's
I don't.
like
I'm not one of these kind of guys.
one of these. What kind of guy is that? If you
Just
would
full closed fist.
Just the Henry
I
Rollins.
think it says a lot about you. A lot of anger and aggression.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
It's good to be here,
I know.
dude.
Is this natural or am I?
I love it. I love it, dude. I love that you're doing this. Anytime I get to see a friend live and in person, it's always a treat now.
Yeah, and we're at the Hollywood Improv.
Yep. World famous.
World famous. I didn't want to say that because I haven't been to a lot of the world, but I've been to some of the world. I've been to some of the world with you.
You and I have been to some of my favorite places on earth.
Okay, we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
We are going to get into that. But before we do that, Joel, let me just ask you.
Dad over here. All right, go ahead.
Joel, why weren't you home last night why weren't you home for dinner? I was trying to do dad shit. I was trying to do dad shit. You know my initials are
Try
dad.
harder. David Allen Dreer. Dreary.
David Allen Drury?
No,
Yeah.
I have an Italian middle name.
What is
Come on, it's
Anthony.
Thank you.
Alessandro. Oh. Okay, I thought it was
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how familiar you are with the show, Jeremiah, but every episode we always take a minute of time, you know, to ask Joel how he's doing, check in on his mental health.
Yeah.
Because
I'm a psychopath.
like right now, you're probably like, does this look weird? My arm up on this couch?
I was more worried about my mouth, but yeah, but you're right. Wrong part of the body, correct sort of train of thought.
But anyway, Joel, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been sleeping all right. I'm starting to notice that like sleep is so important to how I'm feeling, and like yeah, I brought it up to my girlfriend the other day. I was like, because she was saying she got off work last night and was like, she was just sort of saying like how she gets off of work and she can't do the things she needs to do at home because she's already just tired from the day.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started touring extensively, I realized how important it was for me to learn how to sleep on planes so that when we land, I'm like rested and I'm not just burning the oil, you know?
Yeah, if you don't know how to sleep as a comic on planes, like I think it affects your performances later that night. Because how many times have we literally had time to set things down
And go.
maybe even shower,
Yeah.
and then go to the venue?
It's all Red Bull
It's
at that
go,
point
go,
for
go,
me.
go, go,
yeah,
go.
I'm like
Yeah.
begging the club for like sugar-free Red Bulls. And it feels awful. It's almost like scary. You like don't have enough energy to do it.
I was doing crowd work at a show
You?
last night, a night or two ago. It was one of these outdoor shows in LA, and I met an executive of Fiji Water.
Oh shit.
And I told him, I go, just let you know where you're at in your life and my life. The last time I had a Fiji water was in the green room of a comedy club on the road. That's the only time I have Fiji water.
Yeah.
Like anytime we go on the road, we'd be like, dude, they have
Yeah.
freaking Fiji
The
here.
improvs have
The
Fiji.
improvs.
Yeah. You know, in Fiji, they just call it water. Where's my camera? Which one's my camera?
Bing! We'll
Yeah,
count
that's
it.
right.
We'll count it.
All right, cool.
We'll count it.
Yeah, can we get a counter going for these things?
That's one.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I mean, you're kind of the person that taught me how to nap, which sounds crazy.
Yeah. I'm a good napper.
A nap specialist. You're
Yeah.
nappy.
Yeah.
Some might say.
I'm a nappy-headed hoe. That's what I am.
Shout out to our sponsor, Don Imus. Thank
Yeah.
you for paying us to be here today. This
Yeah.
is really great.
Yeah.
You're so dumb. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned that some of your favorite places that we've been have been these like worldwide tours.
Yeah.
What do you think your favorite spot that we've been to is?
Well, one of my
It's a hard question, I know.
One of my favorite trips with you specifically was when we were in Sydney, right?
Yeah, me too, man.
And we hit up Brian and Tony, and we're like, we got to go to the beach.
Yeah, Bondi Beach.
Which is a world famous,
Yeah,
world
a
renowned
top 10 destination.
It's literally a top
places.
10 beach
Yeah.
in the world. And Tony said he had already been there, so he didn't really need to go. And Brian wanted us to sleep. I don't know what he does.
Brian puts on. He's like, I'll just VR it, dude. He's just like,
yeah.
I'm at the beach right now. What are you talking about?
He was. I don't think he was in the mood to go. So
Yeah.
I looked at you and I was like, we have to make a decision this second because we have a show in 4 to 5 hours from now. So we have time to Uber there, maybe grab a bite, get in the water, hang out for a little bit, and then Uber back in time.
Yeah.
And you looked at me and you're like, let's do it.
Let's fucking do it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool trip. It
What
was
a cool.
beautiful just to go to the beach there, but it felt so much like an adventure because we also had a limited time, so we just made the most out of it.
Yeah.
Got great food afterwards.
Thai. It was really
good Thai food.
I'll tell you what. A couple months after we got home from Australia, my GPS on my Yelp was still set to Australia. I ordered Thai food from an Australian restaurant, and then they're like, "Your food's on your way," and I checked the address. I was like, "Oh fuck!" And I had to call them and be like, this is weird, but I'm in America. I can't. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And it was but that food was.
They're
really
like,
good.
we delivered it to you yesterday.
yeah.
It's already on your door.
Driver's he's on an airplane right now. He's taking his hot and ready.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my favorite spots that we did.
Me too. That hotel was awesome too.
The Europe trip obviously was just so fun, but we've had a lot of good trips to Canada as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's so many hotels and states that we've been to within the U.S. that I think my most fun times were when we would fly to one location and then we would do the road in the car between.
Yeah. Well, we did that long trip, right? Like our longest tour ever. It was 7 days in a row. We did I think we ended in Seattle, right? But we did what did we do? Did we do Portland?
We did Portland.
We did a bunch of stuff. It was a long run.
Yeah.
That's another crazy thing is I can't even remember some of the places we've been.
We did.
It was
Yeah,
crazy. Today I was Salt Lake City. I was thinking about where we had the haunted bedroom with the 2 little doors.
Oh, that was creepy.
That was Salt Lake City, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed at this Airbnb that was really cool. That we had this it was this little nook of a door
so
next
me and Jeremiah
to,
share rooms a lot, and so our room.
and by a lot every time.
Yeah, every time.
Well, except
Michigan was one time. Malcolm came with
at
us.
certain Airbnbs we would have our separate
Yeah,
rooms,
yeah,
which
for
would be
sure.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then
Jeremiah's
for the
I
most
could
part,
masturbate as much as I want
I could.
compared to just 2 or 3 times when
I
I'm in the
don't
room.
really like jerking off on the road when I'm traveling with guys though, because I am a bathroom masturbator.
Yeah.
So I don't like to do that. I think it's disrespectful to blow
Thank
a load
you.
in the
No,
shower.
it is. Definitely is.
And then somebody else is showering on top of
my toes are sticking together later on during the show. It's the web feet.
So gross.
Yeah, but I don't know. Whatever.
We
talking
stayed
about
at
the
a couple
haunted doors,
Airbnbs that had some weird little rooms and stuff that were cut out, and little doorways that I don't know, just weird energy, like that you would go on the upstairs attic part.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, I'm glad that we found out, like we learned about this after we had already slept.
Yeah, we don't know what happened in these homes.
No idea. They're Airbnbs.
You know what? To this day, I'm glad I still don't know. Who cares even?
Yeah.
Is that my camera? Who cares? Zoom in on this.
Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
That's your camera right there. Right there.
That's my camera.
Hey, dearie, how many times has Joel said that in the overall amount of podcasting that you guys have done? Is this my camera?
That's a good question. I think it's at least 3 times an episode.
You gave a disappointed dad look there for sure when he said, "Where's my camera?" You go,
"Wow." Well, dearie has disappointed dad face.
I think I do.
Resting dad face.
He's
Dearie has resting dad bottom and dad face.
I mean, Donnell claims that I look upset all the time. He's always like saying like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" And I'll just be like, "No, I'm in a good mood. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to it.
Maybe it's resting producer face.
Yeah, that's
probably is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like thinking of the next thing all the time.
I probably am. Yeah.
Arms crossed negative. I mean, what is happening here? Anyway, back to my guest.
Yeah. Talk about the koala.
Well, okay, we're gonna get there. Remind me about the koala. My mental health, I'm good. I've been sleeping. I forgot about that. I'm keeping track. It's fine. I'm all over the place. Who cares? This is a very selfish question, but I want to know if you have any sort of like stories that stick out about me being on the road, like things that you remember that maybe I don't even know that are.
No, I love that. Some of my favorite memories on the road were Joel and I would make, in my opinion, some of my favorite Instagram videos that you and I have done were
love him
hotel room hijinks videos. But the funniest part is us trying to get the right take. Like we're like doing this build up to this dumb stuff. Like I'm resetting music on my phone,
the electric curtains, whatever it is.
Yeah. While like some of the time, like Joel is like naked behind something. I'm like, dude, I didn't get it. I gotta do another take. This is so weird, but you're doing like one more. And that like to me like that's like the funniest like fun memories is just like laughing. And really what I associate with you going on the road with you is when we do these awesome shows on the road. We're both wound up. Maybe one of us has been drinking, maybe the other hasn't.
Let's guess which is which here.
Anyway. And basically you'd be like, "You want to be bad tonight?"
What? I don't remember this.
Listen. Right. And then I'd be like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" You're like, "I'm going to the vending machine." I'm going to the vending machine. Dude, Joel would come back, no joke, like with at least $20 worth of vending machine food, which is so much food from the vending. It's so much. And there would be like Butterfingers and Snickers, and there'd be like different like Gardettos and chips, and God forbid there'd be like something frozen as an option. Joel would come back with ice cream.
I've done it. I've done Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
Like
when we were selling like the calendar on the road, like any money that like Joel's share, he's like, "Let's be bad tonight." And he'd bring back this like all these amazing treats, and then we would eat them on the hotel room beds, and then we would immediately feel so sick afterwards because there was so much food and sugar, and then you have that crash immediately, and then we'd sleep really well.
Yeah,
but,
you're out.
Yeah.
I think the last time that I've sort of been eating garbage my whole life, but like, what is this? The fucking documentary on a raccoon? Anyway, or a possum? I've been eating garbage my whole life, and this. But I think in Houston, I finally really hit a wall because our buddy Yoni, who from Best Barbecue, he like really goes ham with it. Like it's a really. I don't know. He makes it really nice. He brings it. He slices it backstage. Like
it's a nice spread. You feel like
it's
feel like a king
almost.
backstage. Yeah, it's amazing. Like he goes all out, and it's amazing.
And when you travel with people who don't eat as much as you do, there's always leftovers. And like, who's there to clean it up? Me. And so I remember I think it was Secret Group. I went extra with the sausage and the brisket.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the next day, I remember it was one of the first times where I felt it. I was like,
you had like a meat hangover.
yeah, it was just like, oh, I need to be careful what I eat now. Like, I can't just eat the way I have before.
Right.
It like fucked up my whole next day.
I have to, because one of my favorite things to eat is spicy food and hot sauces. If I have something like a travel day ahead, I sometimes have to prep and back up off the gas on shoving hot sauce down my throat or peppers or whatever. If I'm flying or if I'm like in a car with other people, it's just not a good idea.
Top 3 pepper things just at the moment, either hot sauces or types of peppers. I'll give you mine after.
My top 3 favorite or top 3 like
top
hottest?
3 go to. No. Just the most versatile sort of what you would go to.
One of my favorite is from our buddy Dave Yates. He has hot sauce.
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
There's another brand called Hot Sauce from Hell.
Okay.
That tips on the side of a little bit too hot sometimes, just because you have to be in the right mood for that. But the flavor is really good.
Oh, that's good.
And Ryan J. Ebelt has got me a couple hot sauces from Texas. They were really good.
Yeah.
Those are probably, the third one is a little bit vague, but
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I would probably. I don't know. The cool thing about Yates' sauce is like it kind of goes with everything.
Cactus habanero hot sauce is one of my favorite.
Really?
There's a stand, Cactus Taco.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. It's good.
Dude,
I've had it. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeremiah, what's your favorite? What's your favorite food? Spicy food?
Ooh, my favorite spicy food. Sometimes it's honestly it might skew towards Thai food.
Yeah.
Because it's a different kind of hot. But my favorite food is Mexican. Shout out to you. And that's just because I'm a big burrito, taco, chips guy, like all of those assortment stuff. But some of my favorite that I found is they have the Thai like spice carts. Certain the chilies and stuff that are on there, and some of the peppers, the fresh peppers that you put on there.
Yeah,
so
I
good.
love the chopped Thai peppers in vinegar.
Yeah,
oh, it's so
that's
good.
Great.
Yeah, I almost can't eat pad Thai without it. Like I
can't now.
Like
I that was one thing about like with this pandemic that hit me hard. I was like, I can't have the spice cart.
Yeah.
because I love putting the fresh peppers on there.
Yeah, me too.
And the chili and all, and like just
I
fixing
still
it.
ask them. I'm like, can I get that in like a little plastic thing, please? And usually they're pretty cool about it.
Oh, that's cool.
But I get it. Like, yeah, maybe we just do we have the money in our Patreon to maybe buy Jeremiah a spice cart? Can we do that?
I'll have a look.
We're starting that, guys. We're starting a new GoFundMe. It's called Get Jeremiah a Thai Spice Cart. We're gonna get it.
Join
for
our
him.
Patreon and we'll. All the money will go towards Jeremiah's spice cart.
Sure, and look,
down for that.
I'm about to switch. I'm about to just throw this shit into another gear here.
Do it.
Is that okay?
Yeah, do it.
I don't know. Sometimes I read the comments and people they get weirded out when I switch gears.
I don't leave any comments about gears. I'm
Jeremiah's
all about
scared.
shifting
That's not
gears.
that scary,
I'm all about shifting gears. As a producer, I'm like, yo, we've been here about 15 minutes. Shift that gear, homie.
Okay. Well, I didn't like that. You don't have to get aggressive about it.
Shift it.
Jesus, you're not my. All right.
And don't forget about the koala.
The koala is coming up.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I guess we should just get into that before. This is some other shit.
Oh no, shift gears. My bad.
No, I want to know about the koala now. What did you specifically
what was it like? What was it like to hold a koala? Was it like comparable to a cat?
Yeah,
was it scary?
No, it's the closest animal that I've held that resembles holding a baby.
That's true.
Like a human baby?
A human baby. The weight distribution and everything.
Yeah.
And also, it'd be like a fat baby, obviously, or like a little toddler. But the way that they cling to you, I've never felt anything
it was
like
sucking
an animal.
Jeremiah's tit and everything.
Yeah, dude, I was breastfeeding in the park. They gave me a year membership because of it.
How did we not do that? That would have been a great Instagram clip. Breastfeeding a koala.
It would have been good.
It probably would have ripped your nipple off.
But it put its little claw and paw, it rested it on your chest when you hold them, and you are just looking down at it, and they're eating eucalyptus, which makes them high apparently, and that's what calms them down, so you can hold them. And it was just a moment where you're like, this is amazing, because a cat and everything, or a dog, like, it's always awkward no matter what. Just the way that they're holding. Some cats, like after you've had them in a while, they'll curve their spine where you can hold them in a certain way. But this thing was just like hand on the chest, just looking up and just like chilling, eating. And I was like, this is a little baby right here. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's just the way they're used to hanging out all the time. They're just hanging on these trees, so ergonomically, it feels really good to hold them.
They smell pretty bad though.
They do. Yeah, they smell
bad.
like poop and eucalyptus. Tony said one of his favorite smells was eucalyptus, and after that, he was like, "I'm gonna have to rethink." Because it smells like shit mixed with eucalyptus in a blender. Yeah,
you start kind of associating.
By the way,
that.
did yours have poop in its ass when you held it?
It got on my Jeremiah Wonders T-shirt, and
it
I
shit on your shirt.
It pooped on the shirt.
I had to ask
I got brown on a white shirt.
I think I remember that.
And I had to go and I had to wash it
How's
with
that
soap
shirt
immediately.
doing, by the way?
The stain came out.
There you go. Koalas are strong. Not that strong. I remember seeing like a little bit of poop hanging from the butt, and I was like, can you guys like just flick that before I hold it? I didn't want it. I'm real like into aesthetics. I didn't want that in my photo.
What'd they do?
They flicked the shit, and then they gave me the koala. Yeah, but I think I still got some on my. I mean, our clothes smelled funky.
We had to take them off immediately when we went back to the hotel. It was really very like gamey smell. If you
was gamey.
It was very gamey.
Yeah, I miss it. Honestly, the smell. I thought Australia was great. I would love to. When I was in Sydney, I was like, I think I could like maybe live here. It's expensive, but from what I've heard, not that I know, but Sydney was cool. What was was it Melbourne?
Melbourne?
Yeah, was the second place. That place was pretty dope. I still kick myself that I didn't go with you and Brian out late at night, but I was like so tired that I had
to, or I would have been depressed. A very cool pool hall out there. Yeah, it was
great. You were in the Chinatown of Australia.
Yeah.
Wrap that around your fucking equator, listeners.
Yeah, Joel didn't go out. That was strange. It was a very strange.
I wanted to. I was super tired. I think I finally felt the jet lag that night and like needed to knock out. But to this day, I'm still like, damn, I should have gone. Were you there the last night that we went out with, our buddy who opened up the show, Conway? I know. I think it's Tim. It's not Tim Conway. No, that's a famous. I'm panicking in my head going, I can't remember the guy's first name. His last name's Conway, but he opened up for our shows because apparently
is his name Kellyanne Conway?
Yeah, she was opening for us on the road.
Yeah,
you never know.
Tell you what
Tony's
she's opening
powerful.
For us.
Tony's powerful.
Anyway, it ain't the vending machines. Were you there the last night? We went to like a pool hall, and we went to McDonald's. I think you came. It was me, you
I was
and
there.
Brian, right?
Yeah, I was there. There's a McDonald's right across the street.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never eaten so much McDonald's in my life. You could order on the screen, and in Australia, they have fries with gravy.
Yep.
Which, get your shit together, America. It's delicious.
It's very good. It's very, very salty.
What did you guys feel about the mayonnaise on the fries situation in Europe?
I love it.
Did you do that before you went to Europe ever, or?
No, but it's fine. I mean, I don't know, mayonnaise and I don't know.
I'm okay with it. It's not a go-to for me still, but.
What's your favorite dip for fries? That's not ketchup. Are you just a purist?
Mainly a purist. Probably honey or barbecue.
Okay.
Dude, the honey packets at McDonald's, I love putting
I've never had that.
Chicken McNuggets in the honey.
That sounds so good.
You never tried that?
No, I
Gotta
can't
try
eat Popeyes without honey and the hot sauce that they have. I just fucking slather it on like a psychopath. Oh, I miss vending
Speaking
machines.
of hot sauce, got to give a shout out to Hot Bob's Hot Sauce.
Shout out to Hot Bob Hot Sauce.
Oh, yeah, you gave me a jar. I'm going to try it out. Yeah. I'm excited.
He gave me a jar. I tried it. It's incredible. It's amazing.
It's hot as fuck.
I'll be honest with you. I would enjoy it a lot. I personally would enjoy it a lot more if it was one tick less spicy.
Yeah.
Because the flavor is incredible.
Oh, then I'm
so
probably going to love it.
It's
That's
so
good,
flavorful. Yeah. It tastes like you could taste roasted garlic.
Yeah.
It tastes
the
roasted.
Honey, all that.
Honey,
You're right.
It's sweet.
I think what it is.
But it's not that bad. It's not that spicy.
It varies from whoever he's getting the peppers from. This time they were these Thai chilies and they were like fucking hot. But
I didn't think it was like a 10. It was like a 7.
Yeah.
But I would have liked it more if it was like a 6.
Yeah.
Because
that's a hard thing with like really hot sauce. Sometimes it just becomes lava and it's not like tasty anymore.
Yeah.
Like I want that flavor. Anyway, back to shifting gears. I mean, so I would say, you know, the comedy world, the world in general sort of knows you as this like positive guy. You're like you're kind of always looking for what is. I would say you're grateful. Like you a lot of times you're like grateful for what you have rather than like bitching about what you don't.
Sure.
And I may have already answered this question, but like since we sort of get into mental health and stuff on this and maintaining a healthy lifestyle where you're happy and things aren't getting you too down. I mean, is there any sort of things that you found yourself doing that kind of keep you in that positive space? Because I think maybe people that see you from the outside, it's like you can't be positive all the time. Like you have to have your moments.
Yeah, and you also we've spent so much time together where you see like it's an effort. You have to make an effort to try to be positive
for sure
all the time because it's real easy. Like you've seen like certain things that happen behind the scenes and stuff. Like personal wise, or just like with the show, or just being on the road and the dynamics and life behind that.
Shit gets crazy.
So it's definitely something that you have to consciously think about and make an effort to do. But when you are present and in the moment for what you're grateful for at that moment right then, you're not thinking about all the other stuff that you think you might deserve or think you should be getting. Like, and I've made it a rule years ago. With just being involved in the comedy scene is always be happy for your peers when they get stuff and don't compare yourself to anybody else's career, because as soon as you start doing that, it's a detriment to not only to you as a person, like health-wise, mentally, but it's also a career detriment. Like you don't want to be that guy who is associated with being bitter and not cool to be around and stuff like that. So I always celebrate the fact when people get stuff. Like it's because it's the way I look at it is that's if it can happen for them, like I look at it inversely. If it can happen for them, then it can happen for me as well. So like why not everybody celebrate it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just try to keep things as positive as I can because
does that ever get hard?
Yeah. It definitely does. Because sometimes it's like I mean you know, talking about mental health and stuff, you second guess. We try not to read comments and stuff like that, but we end up doing it because we haven't gotten to a level yet where we're getting so much attention where we don't have necessarily the time to do it.
Or someone
like there's guys like at the top of the mountain basically that they never look at the comments or anything, but we have been working for so long towards getting a reaction that it's difficult for us to not check on stuff. So you have to make a choice to be positive and not be like reactive sometimes to when somebody is. It's all about testing your will and testing yourself as a person when somebody is mean to you, whether it's online or it's in person. Some of our friends and stuff like that, like sometimes we have to deal with negative energy around us in the comedy scene or the entertainment industry just in general. There's a lot of rejection and a lot of no, and you can decide do I want to fight back and play the same game that they're playing, or do I let it roll off and say, you know what, this is not my thing. I'll let you show your horrible side of yourself and I'll stay positive and move forward. That's all I can do is keep my head forward and just try to be positive for other people around me. That's what I try to do. Dude,
it's hard. I mean, I had a moment after the Dodgers won the World Series where I went at it with a troll on Instagram, and like I was like, fuck it, I got the time tonight, whatever.
Right.
And then at the end of it, it just felt awful. I was like, I shouldn't have. Like, I already gave him so much attention. And the next day I was like, why did I do this? Like,
sure.
But it felt.
What was it? Like, go through it. What exactly happened?
I think he was just like he was like a Giants fan, right? Which is like the enemy.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just kind of like going. You know, the thing that I got a lot from people was, oh wow, cool. Like they won this like short year, like whatever the game. We'll give them to him this year. And I was like, well, everybody else
also played under those rules, right? There's a unified, if I'm playing fucking chess or checkers and I want to play backwards or whatever, if we want to play checkers on a chessboard, it's like if we all agree and then they're like, yeah, and then I win, are you going to go, well, it's like a different board. It was like, no, we agreed to play this game. So he was just bitching about that. And then I had a couple comebacks that I wanted to do, but then I remember like I have sponsors and stuff and I have to be real careful about what I'm going to say.
Do you guys, either of you, have an experience with comments that you remember specifically really hurt your feelings?
Oh my God. I don't even think, immediately I go, I don't even want to let them know that.
Yeah. I would not give the satisfaction.
Yeah, I agree.
So in other words, yes.
Oh, of course. Dude,
of course.
we're like anybody who says that they're not sensitive as a comedian, every comedian is so sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
In their own way, like some part of their life is very, very like impacted by that kind of thing. I want something like we're talking about mental health. Mm-hmm. Something that I had to work on, I actively had to work on, is I was nice to a fault for years and years and years. Yeah. And I've had to, over the years, get to a place where I am more comfortable with standing up for myself or making sure that people don't take advantage of you being nice to them in a certain way. And that's something that I think that, like you're saying, like, I thought about like this the next day. Like what I've realized is like sometimes when you're worried about, maybe I shouldn't have said that to somebody. Maybe they didn't know I was joking. 9 times out of 10, maybe even 9.999 times out of 10, that person has moved on and they are not thinking about what the thing you said. It happens a lot early on with when you're a younger comic in the scene and you're trying to impress your peers and stuff like that, and you say something to like a headliner, and then they, maybe they go to their phone like they didn't hear it. They're like, does that person hate me now? It's like, you're not that important to as you think you are, like to those other people.
For sure.
Like I think that's being overly self-aware.
Yeah.
And that I think that we can all like get better at like rolling with things and just being like, no, they don't care. You know what I mean?
I deal with that a lot.
Like being overly nice.
Yeah, and I would like
almost texting the next day, like, hey, I didn't mean it's like what? Then they're like, then that's when it gets weird. Is like you follow up and they're like, I don't even know what.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about.
Not thinking about that.
Yeah, that's been hard for me, man. I had that starting out too, even with just like, hey, sorry I left, I didn't see your set, and they're like, who cares? Like someone who's been in the game like 10 years, they're like, whatever. I leave before you go up. Yeah, no one sees anything. But
I left this conversation minutes ago.
Yeah. I know that's a. I always think about that with you. With as far as like one time we did a show somewhere, and they were sort of like trying not to pay us, and I remember you being very proactive and be like, no, we did. This was the agreement. We did our time. This is what we're gonna get, and I admire that. I try to sort of like learn from that, but I've never been, to this day, I haven't really been put in that position where it's like time to step up like that. But I always attribute it to you just sort of like being in the grind for so long that you're like not going back. Like you've had the shitty hotel rooms with the blood on the carpet or whatever, and like you're not gonna sleep there again.
Sleeping on top of the blankets because you're too afraid to to know what's underneath, so you sleep in all your clothes.
Yeah. What is like, if you were to, when people talk about the trials and sort of the hardest parts of being a comedian, is there one thing that sticks out to you as being like the most sort of like degrading thing you look back at where you're like I guess we're never really past that because you never know where they're going to put you up. But is there anything that sticks out to you as being like the worst sort of situation?
I mean, I think the hardest thing of being a comedian is putting out certain things into the universe that you try really, really hard on and you really put a lot of work into, and it just doesn't get any kind of response. To me, travel, all that stuff, I think I lump that in with it being a part of it. The hardest thing for me is like when I am passionate about something and then people don't connect with it. It's like a back to the drawing board moment where I'm like, man.
So do you mean, because that's interesting, do you mean more sort of no response or a bad response? Which would you rather have?
I would much rather have a bad
you?
response.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I would
Okay.
much rather have a bad response, so that at least gives me an idea of the direction. Whether, if I really believe in it, I might be like, these people are wrong.
Yeah.
But if it gets a no response, that's harder than.
Man.
Yeah, because the amount of work that we put in and just the amount of effort that goes in, and every comedian is different, but I put a lot of effort into trying to put out like social media stuff and sketches and songs and all that stuff. So I sometimes spread myself too thin. I am aware that I do that. Yeah. So if there's certain things that I put out there that I really like and I'm really hoping that people like and it gets no response, that's when I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, that's hard. I've been like doing or like just music stuff is like that's where I feel the most with that. Or sometimes I've shared stand-up clips, but it's like you work music specifically because you work on this thing in your bedroom alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's sort of nerve-wracking to throw it out there and be like, hey, I made this thing. You never know what the fuck is going to happen. But I've experienced that with music stuff quite a bit. But luckily I've had some sort of like reaction to it. I can't remember a time that I've like thrown something out there and had like nothing. But I'm almost positive it's happened, even if it's just like a quick
and
thing.
that's another thing with mental health where it's like I shouldn't be giving even that power over,
hard,
but it's hard because we're all doing this for the love of it, but there's also a point where you're like, but I also, I'm excited for other people to check this out. Mm-hmm. So that's it's hard.
And this is like
a hard balance.
Like a dirty thing to talk about, but it's like eventually you want to be able to pay your bills with that thing. It's weird to bring money into the art conversation, but
yeah, it's a hard like I'm doing this for the love of the game, but I would eventually like to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So no reaction's rough because it's almost like a strike against being able to stay afloat.
I mean, it's just like telling a joke on stage and seeing somebody not react at all.
Yeah.
That's way worse to me than having somebody like shake their head and give an expression or die from laughter.
Yeah.
Like the nothing. That's the worst.
Yeah, I've started to realize that now, where I'm almost prodding certain reactions, not even good ones. I just want a reaction.
Yeah.
It's almost like what are you gonna do with this? I'll fucking whatever. I'm wearing a sock or a thong or whatever. It's like, what are you? Sometimes you hear the groans, whatever, and it took me a while to realize that.
You killed me so hard recently with a thong incident on Kill Tony.
I hope it stays in there somehow.
I do too, but we'll see.
It may get edited out. YouTube is a little weird about. It's weird because I shop for this specific thong. It's a banana hammock if you're thinking about the style, but
why don't we just put a picture of it in this episode?
Because I don't even know if I can get that.
What, the thong?
Oh, I can. Oh, I have a picture of the thong.
Yeah, why don't we just put a picture of it?
Honestly, now that you say that, I go, it's a little much. yeah. If you're asking me for a photo, I go, all right, maybe they have a point. It's a little much.
But it's not that much.
Here's the thing. I'm growing, okay? When you said that, I go, all right, maybe it's a little too revealing. But what the fuck? I don't know. I'm trying to poke and prod and be a little wild, I guess. I mean, sometimes with anything in life, when anything gets sort of feels stale, I have this like want to break out of it. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, somebody who like people think is like so, for lack of a better word, like somebody who's just so like seems positive and sort of like almost I'm trying to find a word that doesn't sound offensive,
no,
but like
whatever comes to mind I'm okay with.
Very like family friendly almost. Like I would think you are. You do clean comedy, but I know, but you're not. Like
that's what's interesting.
For the bit, like I tell people, like you're willing to do anything as long as it's funny, and you will commit 100%.
What I will say, one of my favorite moments that made me laugh the hardest out of anything that Joel and I have done.
I know where you're going with this. It involves fruit, doesn't it?
It involves a banana.
That's right.
Dude, we were we were porn stars for an episode on Kill Tony a long time ago, and I like to commit to the bit, obviously. If you follow Joel or I got a fake spray tan. I went to a tanning booth and got a fake spray tan, and I said, "Give me the darkest shade that you can that makes me look as orange and like brown as possible. I want to look like a gross porn star." And the lady thought it was hilarious, and she just kept coding me and kept coding me. She's from Australia, actually. She's like, "It's for a show. I might have to come by."
Hilarious.
And
did she? No.
She didn't come by. But so we're grossed out. I have this tube top on, this like stuffing like for boobs, and like fake eyelashes that Joel bought from like the dollar store or something. And it gets to this moment. I don't even remember how it led up to this moment, but I was eating a banana on stage, and then I started like deep throating it, and Joel gets down in front of me, and I like basically tells me to spit it on his back.
Which is more disgusting than anything.
It's
like
so gross, dude.
It's degrading too, by the way. Spit out that banana on my back.
So his lower back, he's looking back to me as this gross porn star character, and I'm trying to not choke because I'm laughing so hard while I spit banana onto your lower back, and it's so gross and so insanely funny to me still. Like, I've watched the clip and I'm like, I don't want to like this, but it's so funny and irreverent for no reason.
Yeah, you've told me that. I sort of watch it again, and I'm like, in my head, I go, I should have gone further. We should have baby birded it. I should have opened my mouth and had you, especially now with COVID. It's like I yearn for the days you could
for
spit
the old
banana
days?
on my back. Yeah. When this is over, you promise we'll do it again?
We'll do it again, bro.
Sounds great. I'm just thinking about when this is going to be over. It's very possible, and we can cut this out later. You might be an actual dad when this COVID thing is over.
Very good chance. Very good chance.
A.
Yeah.
And by that point, I mean, you're going to be a dad. We can't be spitting bananas out on people's backs anymore.
I mean, I think we still can.
You know what? They're too young. They don't know what the fuck it's about.
Daddy's got to work.
Daddy's got to work. We've never been.
Onlybands.com.
Onlybands.com.
Banana footage.
An OnlyFans, maybe. Maybe not. It's not just porn, right?
You'd have the grossest guys, like Joel looks pretty good as a chick.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
I know you do. And Chroma Chris has never gotten that once.
The worst woman. It's weird. I was trying to think about things because we've been asked everything about Kill Tony, and I'm like, is there anything that maybe you've ever wanted to talk about, like that no one asks about that you think would be cool if people knew?
I just don't think that people really know really the prep that goes into
I agree.
Before each show, because we don't really get asked about that very often.
I think they think we just have like, oh, today we're going to do this. Bam, we pull from a closet, we all match, everything's good. It's not like that.
It's a lot of work that goes into it, and not only on the costume and the character side of things, the music side of things too. Like that sometimes is the most stressful part before the show, is making sure that we have new songs to play for the audience and stuff. So if I tend to play a little bit long sometimes, it's because we've just spent a couple hours working on that small section of the song that's maybe 6-7 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, you fucking... I love those sort of things, though, that you put so much time into, like a short thing. What was that? You gave me the light. Is that the 10-minute warning?
Yeah, that was the light that you asked me to give you.
He did it real subtly, too.
It feels weird. I like to make it weird, okay?
Make it weird.
I'm trying to melt all this Hollywood shit down, all right? I get the light. I'm supposed to go... Or
I mean,
a little sign. I say, hey, what's that?
I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. But when you say before the show, hey, could you give me a light 10 minutes before an hour? I just gave it to you. Let me look at the...
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you.
No, it's fine.
I take that back.
You're at 45 minutes. Go for it.
Jesus Christ. I got to figure out
It's a great show.
something.
It's a good show. It's a good episode. As a producer, I'm happy.
Thank you. That's all I want.
It's always a good sign when the producer trails off.
Yeah,
it's a good show. Yeah, it's all right show.
How are you feeling about being a future dad?
I'm pretty excited, actually, to be honest. It took me, dude, I've talked with
yeah.
you probably as much or more than, any friend that I have.
I thought you were going to say my wife.
Than my wife.
I talked to you more about this baby than my wife.
Yeah. No, you have been with me on the mental journey leading up to this, because for years and years I was like, I don't know if I can do this, man.
Yeah.
Like, I even, like, there was a moment where I was like, I don't even know if I'll ever want to have kids. And that was like a moment where, like, it was a lot of self-discovery and exploring why I felt that way. And I'm at a really good place with it now where I'm, like, really looking forward to it. And my wife is obviously, she's like so excited. Maya, she's so good with kids.
For
so
sure.
it's,
I think you are too. I think there's this thing where, like, we want to be, before we have kids, we're like, we want everything to be perfect, but honestly, from what I've heard, the truth is, like, you will never be. If you wait till you're ready, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
Because you'll never be ready. So, like, and just sort of seeing it the way it unfolded and all that, I feel like it was almost perfect timing. I mean, it feels good.
It feels like a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy that we're doing it now rather than a few years ago, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it seemed almost perfect. And then did you feel, because I've noticed sort of your hustle game has expanded, like it sort of blew up, obviously this is a dumb question, but has that pressure sort of been a part of fueling that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely different expectations and different results that I'll be looking for within myself, just as a trying to be more of a provider, because the way that my wife and I have things worked out is, like, she's always been working, so it's been a very much a joint effort to pay the bills and stuff like that, and it's going to continue to be that, but I feel a little bit more of a sense of, like, I need to do even a little bit more now because we are moving into a different place.
Damn, newsflash. You heard it here first on the Mostly Sorry podcast.
Jeremiah is moving.
Jeremiah wonders, is there a place we can move into?
Not to Texas, though. Just a different part of LA.
Okay. Just checking.
People have been asking me, you moved to Texas? I was like, I literally just signed the lease on a different place in Los Angeles.
That's
so
awesome,
that's a hard no. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
because we have to have a room for the baby. So now I'm like, okay. Woo.
Yeah,
now
let's
get to work. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. Like, I'm excited, and it's also going to push me even more to make things happen. So I'm looking forward to it.
I feel like it's almost it's scary, but it's almost like conducive to, like, a comedian's life where, like, you've been hustling since the get-go. So now, you have a little fucking ray of sunshine to hustle for. I feel like you have a little bit of consider it a battery.
I think I'm also, something I'm going to work on is being slightly more selective with things that I invest my time in with, and also, like, I've said yes to everything for so many years. I'll always say yes to this.
Kidding.
I love you, dude.
I'm kidding. I know.
This doesn't count as a saying yes to everything. There's sometimes things that we do as comedians where we say yes, and then we're like, I don't know if I should have said yes to that afterwards. It was maybe that gig long term, talking about mental health. I will avoid doing certain gigs now. I didn't go up at the store on Monday because I had just done a week of amazing shows in New York. And I didn't want to have to talk through the glass to people on the patio at the store. Like, I'm grateful for those spots, but they're really hard.
Yeah.
And I just had real shows in New York, and I'm like, mentally, I'm just going to ride that wave a little bit longer, and I can hit a spot next week at the store. And I did a couple outside shows a couple nights ago that were great, and I was like, I'm glad I waited. So it's important to be more selective with your time and saying yes to the things that is conducive also to your mental health long term.
It's hard when you're hungry for those spots. Like,
it's really hard.
Yeah, you'll end up saying yes to everything, and then you're like, you're mentally not doing well.
Yeah.
Damn. I guess we're wrapping up. I wanted to know because we always play the Less Than Jake song on the tour. You know, we
play.
Dude,
We've
the
got
Science of Selling Yourself Short was our pre-show song for a very long time, if not the entire time. But just to wrap things up, sort of slowly. I mean, like, I wanted to know, with someone like you, what did your rebellion look like as a teenager? As a, you know, what was, because you know, I know a little bit about how you grew up. You know, I know that there was, you know, religion involved, things like that. And, you know, what did Jeremiah growing up as a teenager, when you started to rebel, how did that come to fruition?
Well, it's going to sound weird, but my sister and my brother, and also the way things happened with my parents' divorce and everything, I was kind of surrounded by some craziness that was going on. So I didn't get a chance to rebel.
Oh, wow.
I had to be the rock as far as like in my family's life, where
and age-wise, your siblings you're the youngest?
brother's 3 years older, and then my sister is 2 years younger.
Oh, so you're the middle kid.
I'm the middle kid.
Okay.
So I put it upon myself to make sure that, because there's so much craziness going on in the household, that I was going to be an upright citizen, an upright family member, not worrying my family at all.
Damn.
So
How old were you around this time?
My parents got divorced when I was 17, so like leading up to it, like that was, you know, your main, like,
yeah,
you know,
rough.
14, 15, 16, that kind of like around that time. So my rebellion really was honestly the certain videos and comedic stuff that I've decided to do later on when I moved out to LA.
Gotcha.
When I moved out to LA, that was like, I'm away from Kansas. I've always wanted to do this and that, like comedically. And I'll still do some stuff where every once in a while my family's like, we didn't like that, but you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just because they think it's too far
For
or
sure,
whatever.
for sure.
But like that's really been my rebellion, is really just with comedy in the last like 10, 11 years. Over 11 years of being in LA, is like I chose that time, like once everybody was good and settled again. But dude, I tried to be not a problem to my parents or family at all, and look after them.
I would almost consider that as a teen, your rebellion, to be, if the world is crazy and you choose to be the most sort of sane, that is still, you know, one of my favorite punk bands, Minor Threat, is, you know, coined the term straight edge, and their whole thing was, we're not going to be like the rest of the scene. The scene is crazy. Everybody's on drugs. Everybody's this. We're going to be sort of like, we're not going to be that. We're just going to be something else. And so for you as a 17-year-old to sort of decide that is, I mean, that's rebellion, and also super, I don't know if at 17 I would have even had that sort of the wherewithal to know that I was being that. But
yeah, no, I definitely, because there was like drinking and drugs and stuff, like not like
just
big
around,
drugs, just more like recreational drugs.
Yeah.
But because that was around me, I was like, I'm seeing what it's doing to my family and the relationships. I'm going to stay away from that.
Yeah.
That's like that's one of the reasons why I still don't drink, is I've seen what it can do to people who I love and stuff like that, and that's me personally.
Yeah.
People can do it in a
you've
positive
never
way
been
and stuff like that.
about any of that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm always down to clown and hang dog.
That's right. Yeah, we'll eat some tasty cake. We'll rate the vending machines.
I brought Joel a tasty cake back from Philly in Wawa that I went to with Dan Soder and Big J Okerson, and it traveled like thousands of miles to get back to Joel. And it was like so worth it.
Oh, it was worth it.
When you ate it and you're like, this is so good. And then you broke me off a piece. I was like, this was worth it.
And the fact that you stared at it an entire week and didn't eat it,
it was where I was staying in New York. I looked at it every morning as I was hungry, as I walked by. I'm like, I got to save this for Joel.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was great.
Of course,
yeah. And I mean, that's it. I mean, to wrap this up, I would say if you're out there and shit is crazy or whatever it is, try to be the opposite of that. Try to be, go against the grain, but also if the grain is bad, still go against the grain. And that's always go against the grain. But even if that means this is where I have an aneurysm.
It's
Can
okay.
we edit my head exploding?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the golden rule. Like, treat others how you want to be treated. It goes a long freaking way.
True. Yeah, and also be grateful for what you have. Stop worrying about what you don't. And don't.
I've come to my senses.
That I become senseless. Anyway, well, that's it. Don't be a sheep, no matter what that means. And try to be positive. Try to be grateful. And we love you guys.
I'll sing along.
Yeah, with every emergency. That's it, guys. Mostly sorry. My guest, Jeremiah Watkins, one of my best friends.
One of my besties, Joel Jimenez. Thank you so much for having me, dude.
Thank you for being here. I know you got to get out of here. Guys, we love you. Thank you to the Patreon, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Shots on a gun, I don't wanna be. Guilt trip, these drugs are inside of me. This is not where I wanna be. This is not who I wanna be. And these words I speak today will not